What's up, family? Welcome to Mom. A lot of people will probably be saying, what is this fool talking about, welcome to Mom? Well, Mom is actually an acronym, for Mind of Major. I am C Major. And me using Mom as an acronym is my way of paying homage to my biggest supporter, my mom, who just so happened today is her birthday. So first and foremost, I like to say, happy born day, Mom. I love you to the moon and beyond. And I also would like to throw birthday wishes up to heaven for the brother, King Nip. I hope you enjoying paradise, brother. What it is I want to do with the channel is spread nothing but positivity. A positive message all the time, because I feel as though there's way too much negativity out here today already. I'm a Baltimore native, and over the past, I don't know how many, just more than a few years, our city of Baltimore hasn't been the same as it was in days past. And in a way, I can sit back and say that I maybe took part in making the city the way it is today. And when I say this, I don't mean it that I did something on purpose, purposely did something on purpose to make it like that, but my actions indirectly affected the city in a negative way. And just like my actions affected the city in a negative way, so did a lot of brothers out there like myself around my age who did the same things I did. That would be playing around in them streets back in the 80s and 90s when drugs hit the city kind of hard. If you was like me and you took part in playing in those streets, doing what they would say today is getting your money up, we're indirectly responsible for what we see today. Our actions indirectly gave birth to what it is we see today. Now, I come in contact with a lot of young guys just in my travels and so on and so forth. As I used to, anybody in Baltimore would know what hacking is. And for those who are not familiar with the term, that's like illegal taxiing, when you would use your vehicle to take someone to certain places or whatever for a fee. This is something I used to do at one point, and a lot of the times I made my money driving around young guys. But what I always made it a point to do was, while I had these young guys in my vehicle, I would be sure to spark up a conversation just to kind of pick their minds a little bit and see what type of individual they were, you know what I mean? As though if they were the type of person that would listen, or I felt as though that they would listen, I would be sure to drop a jewel on them, whereas though when they left my company, that they would think about what it is I said to them. And it could be something that actually might have affected them in a positive way and caused them to live their life differently. But today, I say I would wish that myself included, I could get a lot of brothers out there to start thinking the same way that I'm thinking. And we had to find some kind of way to get a hold of these young guys and change their way of thinking to the point where as though they think twice about just ending the life of someone that basically looks the same way they look. You know, I can't help but think back to the days when I grew up in this city, and it wasn't never like that. It wasn't like that. There were always drugs in the inner cities, but it wasn't to the degree that it is now. So we didn't have the actual problems that we have now. There was always a sense of community, a bond of sorts, whereas though everybody looked out for everybody. People weren't so quick to fight and hurt the next person. But it's like there's been a shift that, you know, that we have yet to bounce back from. But as men, I feel like we have to become more engaged. We have to become more engaged. Because if we don't, you can't help but think that eventually, what's to happen? What's to happen if things continue to spiral out of control as they're doing at the present moment? You think about it, I can't say exactly when it'll be, but if things don't change, we're going to be on the list with the dinosaur. We're going to be on that extinction list. You have to seriously think about it and look at it in a serious context. It doesn't take much. If you got a third of the black male population winding up in prison, and I'm not going to get into the whole prison thing right now as far as the prison system. I'm not going to jump into that right now particularly, but you have, say, a third of the male population that'll actually go to jail or prison at some point in their life. You got a lot of black males dying at the hands of other black males daily, and the rest are just, we just here. A lot of people, a lot of ones that are just here are just standing around, and we're just watching us self-destruct. Like it doesn't affect us. When in actuality, it's indeed affecting us. It might not be affecting us personally per se, but when you think about the next 100 years, 150 years, even though you might not be here, your children's children could be here. You know, that's if they even have a chance. And at this rate, I mean, we just have to get more involved. I mean, there are some people that are boots on the ground, out there doing the work. One group of people in particular are the guys that work the Safe Streets program. I gotta salute these guys because they're actually, like I say, boots on the ground, out there helping these or trying their best to help these young guys, mentoring them, trying to change their way of thinking, trying to help them better themselves. But that's a small group. We have to have more black men get engaged. We have to become more engaged with these youth. And I feel as though if you stand back and you think, just like I was saying earlier, if you played in those streets back in the 80s and 90s, this is what you gave birth to. This is what you gave birth to. So if you were part of the problem, it's only right that you at least make some attempt to be part of the solution. I mean, you got to sit back and think. These young guys are so, everybody will be quick to criticize these young guys. But nobody ever wants to actually engage these guys to try to find out where's the anger and the hostility coming from. I mean, you could just think, I sat back and I thought of one instance, like I say, back in the day, when we were out there playing in those streets, doing what we was doing. You just think of one instance. Say if a addict came through with a game system, PlayStation, Xbox, something like that. The first thing you doing, you trying to, I'm gonna get that. You're trying to give the addict $20, $30 for the gaming system. But you didn't stop and think that that gaming system that this person is selling you right now could be the only thing that kept that child who it belonged to in the house, out of trouble. Something that you gave this addict $20, $30 for changed this young guy's whole perspective on things. Now he's not in the house. Not only is he not in the house, he's out in the streets, and he has animosity towards the guys that's out in the street that's dealing, simply because you took the only thing from him that brought him solitude. So now there's a built up anger against someone that looks just like him. So now, in a sense, he's hating himself, because he's hating someone that looks just like him. And this thought lingers in the back of his mind. I'm out here doing this. I could have been, what would have happened to me had this guy on the corner of my block not have taken my gaming system from me? What would have happened if he would have had a little more integrity and told this young kid's mom or dad, take that game back in the house. Take your son game back in the house. You could have been preventing someone from becoming a killer. It sounds kind of crazy, but it's true. You could have very well prevented someone from becoming a killer. But we don't think about things like that. We don't think about things like that in that type of sense, because then it falls on us and nobody wants to put themselves at blame. Nobody wants to blame themselves. They just like to shift the blame. You know, they want to blame the young guys, but nobody want to blame the people who made them like this. You know what I'm saying? That would be people like I say, myself included. Although it was indirectly, and I stress that, it was our actions indirectly did this. We didn't do a lot of this with malice in our hearts. We didn't intend on hurting anyone. Our thought process didn't go that far. You understand? I mean, you could have had some, you know, when I played in the streets, I fooled myself and try to act sometimes as if I had some sense of morality, whereas though I wouldn't, you know, I wouldn't do things for certain people or whatever. If someone was pregnant or something like that, I ain't, get on waiting here. Knowing that they ain't gonna do nothing but give the money to somebody else and they gonna come back around the corner. And you know where it's gonna eventually go. But like I said, I wanna get back. I so badly wanna get back to the days where community was just that. Community was community, where you spoke to your neighbors. You know, you spoke to your head. You had interactions with your neighbors. Your neighbors were like your family. The kids in the neighborhood were like your kids. That's how close the bond was. Nowadays, people rarely, and that's myself included. I couldn't tell you the names of not even half the people on the block in which I live. I probably know the names of maybe 5 people, if that. Because a lot of times we don't communicate with one another. We've lost that sense of community. And the things that we sit there and criticize daily, we're not going to get it back. We're not going to get those things back until we bring back that sense of community. And in order to do that, people have to be willing to put themselves out there. And these young guys, a lot of them don't want to be in the position that they're in. But I had a young guy tell me that it's not that he's like the way he is because of the way people look at him, but it doesn't help either. He said he could be outside and people look at him as if they think that he's going to harm them. Excuse me. That he thinks that, they think that he's about to harm them. When that could be the furthest thing from his mind. You know, they're just basically stereotyping him, throwing him into a group with other people. When people don't take the time out to engage him, and if they did engage him, that they would realize that that is not his personality at all. But like I said, we got to start being hands-on, or we ain't going to get that change. We're going to just continue to fall short. We have to become engaged. It takes nothing, just conversation. And a lot of these young guys, it's the way that you come at them. You know, how you doing? Just speaking. You know, speaking in passing. Once you speak in passing so many times, it breaks down the wall. It breaks down the wall. You consistently breaking down the wall. The ways you get to the point where as though you can have short conversation that might lead to a longer conversation eventually. And then you can start throwing ideas out there. But for somebody to think that the average person will say something crazy like, oh, they need to get off these corners and get a job. Yeah, that would be nice. But it's also a fantasy. Because if every last one of these young guys decided, well, I'm not going to be on the corner no more. I'm not going to be on the corner. I'm going to just work. Truthfully speaking, there wouldn't be employment for all of them. But you have a lot of them that have kids. You have some of them that don't have actual kids, but are actually taking care of their maybe brothers and sisters, younger brothers and sisters. Because unfortunately, they might have parents that are out in the streets, that are unable to care for the family as they should. So with them having a sense of wanting to try to keep their family unit together, I'm going to say they're forced to do things that they might not do otherwise. But people don't know this because if you don't take time to get to know people and ask questions, you can only speculate. You understand? We got to start with the major problem, the worst problem first, and then deal with the less. I mean the less major things. You deal with the worst first, and that would be the murders. The murders. We got to get them to their frame of mind is just it's undescribable. The type of things that I heard of people killing the next person over today. I mean, the things, you know, and a lot of them, they threw things in the heat of the moment, and the next day, they might not even remember why it is it happened. Might not even remember the episode. I mean, because you got a lot of them out there, and they're doing certain things in the streets, certain drugs, pills, and so on and so forth, that they really don't even know the long-term effects of what it is they're doing. But it is what it is. But that comes to, you know, that comes with the thing where I say we have to be engaged, but we have to become engaged with them to shed light on these things and share this information with these guys in a way that they get it, in a way that they are susceptible to it. They'll listen, you know what I mean, and take heed to the information that you give them. Then maybe they'll think twice about it and try to fall back and actually change their way of thinking. But until they change their way of thinking, this is what we're going to get. You know, I'm so disheartened when I've stopped watching the news. I don't even like to watch news. I very seldomly go on Facebook anymore because I just got so tired of seeing just about every day another young, you know what I mean, guy being killed almost daily. Almost daily. I mean, it just hurt. Being a person that has dealt with a lot of personal loss myself, I can't help but think about that person's mother, their brother, their father, you know what I mean, their family members. Knowing what the loss of my family members did to me, you can't help but feel for the next person when you hear about these people losing young kids, man. And that's what they are. Technically, they might be adults, but they're basically kids, man. They're basically kids, and we have to try to do something to get a hold of them. Because we losing right now. We are really losing right now. But I just need people that are like-minded, more like-minded, to contact me. Now, I mean, this is YouTube. My videos will continue to be on the YouTube platform. If you heard what I said and you felt it, by all means, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and most of all, leave comments, become engaged in the conversation. Share your thoughts on it. That's the only way we can work to better things. And this ain't just saying for Baltimore or Baltimore. This ain't just for us. I said it's going to be on the YouTube platform. I'm quite sure people in other cities, especially Chicago and so on and so forth, they deal with similar problems. We have to get a hold of the young guys in all of these cities, because we're all going to be affected. We're all in this together. We all in this together. Like I said, I don't have no interest. I have no interest of being on that list with the dinosaur. That ain't part of my plan. So I say it once again. If you feel like I feel about the issues that I've just spoke upon, by all means, subscribe to my channel. Like the video. Most of all, comment on the subject matter. Spread your opinion. Spread your opinion. This has the potential to go all around the world. Somebody might see the video on the other side of the world and comment and feel a certain way about it. They can leave a comment, you come on, become engaged. Whereas though they might be misinformed about something, you hear? You can put them in their place. But what I will say, I'm doing this channel as a tool to spread positivity. It's a tool to spread positivity in the community, to bring change in a positive manner. I will not be dealing with anything negative on this channel. So keep that in mind. If someone feel as though they want to come on and leave some kind of crazy comment or whatever, it won't be there for long. And that's not out of disrespect. I'm like that. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm just putting it out there. I'm only dealing with trying to do something positive. and I won't have that overshadowed by a couple people bringing negative vibes. I say it again. Subscribe, like the video, leave a comment, become engaged. Let's get our city back to being a community again, man. Let's get that sense of community back, man. It was a beautiful thing. It was a beautiful thing. We need that back today, more than ever. Until the next video, peace, and I love y'all, family. I'm out of here.